Hey, we gotta stop meeting like this. Right? Last week, conversations with Chris. I know, I wore a tie. Okay, I'm gonna give practical examples about how the thoughts that you have really do create your reality. And the RAS, rodents of unusual size? That's ROUS, and I am not going to be talking about the rodents of unusual size. No, the Reticular Activating System. More on that in just a moment. First off, life is perception. If you have a crummy situation happening in your life and you perceive it to be the end of the world, guess what? That's going to be your reality. Now, that same crummy situation, but you see it as an opportunity for growth. You know, in time, it'll be a blessing in disguise. Well, same situation, two completely different realities. Seen it both ways. All right, if you are an optimist, generally, you're going to have a pretty pleasant life. If you are a pessimist, generally, you're going to have a pretty unpleasant life. Why? I'm glad you asked. It's the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. Simply put, our minds take in millions of bits of data every single day. Our brain can't possibly process all of that. So we have created a mental device that filters out all the stuff it determines is unnecessary. We don't need to know everything, but it also highlights the things that our subconscious mind and our conscious mind tells it is important. Okay. Maybe you've seen this example before. Say you get a new car. Suddenly, you start seeing that make and model everywhere you go. Well, it's not that overnight the streets were flooded with that car. It's that now your RAS thinks it's important to you. You bought one after all. So every time it gets that bit of data, it says, hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one. Look, Chris, there's another one. Have you ever noticed that?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Toyota Sienna.
Yep. So, if you think that life is out to get you, guess what? Your RAS is going to get lots of examples of why that's true. It's no fun. And if you're really deep in that funk, well, that's all the RAS is going to show you. It's not even going to think to show you the positive stuff because you were so focused on all that negative. You're probably not going to be very fun to be around. Maybe you know somebody like this.
Yep, I've been like that a couple times in my life.
Yeah, true. Now, the opposite is also true. If you are somebody that believes that good fortune goes wherever you go, well, the RAS is going to show you that over and over. Now, imagine the spectrum, very optimistic to very pessimistic. Most people right in the middle, they're content. They take the good with the bad. Well, I say content is boring because it's never going to ask you to step outside of your comfort zone and experience all that life has to offer. You got to get out there and change and experience. This is where it gets fun. The snowball effect. If you are like super optimistic and you really make it a point, well, when you start getting over at that spectrum, good stuff happens to you. Your RAS shows you everything good happening to you, which makes you feel happier, which makes you act happier, which makes people act happier to you. It's the way it is. People like to be around people that make them feel good. And it just snowballs. Now, the opposite. If you're super pessimistic, well, that's how you act. That's what your RAS is showing you. And it makes you miserable, grumpy, thing after thing, and it just gets worse. Well, snowball effect, and that is dismal. But right now, if you're on that far spectrum in pessimism, it's time to rejoice. Why? Because this is the time that you can change your life in an instant. It's about perception and the story that you tell yourself. Those little crummy things that happen to you, the job, the people, the things that you drop on your foot, whatever. If you start finding something to feel positive about, a blessing in disguise, you can change the story that you tell yourself and things will start to change. Just perception can instantly change your life. I know because I experienced that about 12 years ago. And it was like an overnight change. You can do this. Now, since this is our last week with Conversations with Chris, I want to leave you with one more small token of my wisdom. Yeah. All right, get a notebook, put it by your nightstand every night. Before you go to bed, write down 5 things that you appreciate about the day. Every night, 5 new things. And when you get up in the morning, maybe read it over, but get excited and ask your RAS or yourself to be on the lookout that day for more things that you can feel grateful about and write down that night. As you do this, it becomes a habit, and your RAS learns that it's important to show you things that are positive, things that make you feel good, and start that snowball rolling. So that's it. Conversations with Chris has been a blast. I wish you nothing but the best. Peace.
You're kind of weird.